Gonna do some reactions, I wanted to just basically, just chill out, do a little something, you know. So we'll just start off with some shorts. Then after the shorts, we'll
Awards
basically,
the NBA got rid of. Starting off as the Comeback Player of the Year. The NBA used to name a Comeback Player of the Year from 1980 to 1986, similar to the NFL's Comeback Player of the Year. They got rid of this award because the last two winners were Marquez Johnson and Michael Ray Richardson, who won the award coming back from substance-related issues, and the NBA did not want to highlight that. Next, we have the IBM Award. The trophy...
They need to come back with the Comeback Player of the Year award. But, it shouldn't be about, like, motherfuckers going through drug abuse and all that shit. It should be basically about the stats going up. Somebody had a bad year, got injured for most of the year. I got my shirt backwards.
Was a little IBM computer. This award was handed out from 1984 to 2002. It was sponsored by the IBM Computer Company, and IBM used a special computer formula that combined player stats with team success to find the quote-unquote most valuable player without any bias, voter fatigue, or narrative. Michael Jordan only has 2 IBM awards, and David Robinson has 5 of them. When the NBA introduced their own PER, or player efficiency stat, in the late 90s, they no longer wanted the IBM formula and phased it out. Then there's the NBA Force Champion. The NBA used to host force competitions that happened periodically for a few seasons, like in 1978, 2009, 2010, and...
I fuck with some horse shit. Like, horse is fun. Like, straight up, motherfuckers do different dunks, motherfuckers do different shots. Horse is fun.
During the 2020 bubble, but this event hasn't been seen in 5 years, and who knows if it will ever come back. Lastly is the NBA All-Star Legends MVP from 1984 to 1993 during All-Star Weekend. The NBA used to have a competition between retired NBA legends. This contest and award was canceled after injuries during the 1992 game with Norm Nixon and David Thompson. 1993 was the last match of this. Awards the NBA got rid of. Starting off as the Comeback Player of the Year. The
top 5 greatest rookie seasons in NBA history. Starting off at number 5, I have to go with 18-year-old LeBron James.
Of course.
Ridiculous amount of hype coming out of high school, and he averaged 21, 5, and 6. Dude was barely a legal adult. And with the number 4 pick, of course, one step ahead of LeBron James, we got Michael Jordan. 28 points a game, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. Those are MVP numbers as a rookie. And at number 3, give me the hick from French Lick, Larry Bird. 21 points and 10 boards a game. But the stats don't tell the story. The Celtics only had 29 wins the season prior. Then Larry Bird got drafted, and after his first season, the Celtics had 61 wins. Ridiculous impact. And with the number 2 pick, the numbers are getting insane because we got Magic Johnson. 18 points, 8 boards, and 7 assists a game. But he won the finals and a finals MVP while playing center for an injured Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Dude dropped 42 points playing center in game 6 of the finals. But finally, far and away in the number 1 spot, we got Wilt Chamberlain. 38 points and 27 rebounds a game. Dude won the league MVP as a rookie. End of conversation.
Oh, damn. 27 rebounds a game, bro. That is insane.
When you was in some league, did you think it was green? Like, this shit.
I had terrible summer league. Damn. I knew I was an NBA player though. I had a mini camp and I'm averaging 44 points a game. Yeah. I'm like, I can score better than everybody. I'm better than everybody. And when I got there, I was still playing like that. I never got in the game. The fuck am I doing wrong? And then Nick Van Exel pulled me to the side. I was like, he made $28 million a year. He made 14. He make 15, he make 8, pointed out, he's like, you make 1. I'm like, all right, I'm better than them niggas. He was like, do Joe want you on his team?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. He was like, ask him. I'm like, Joe, you want me on your team? He's like, shit, I don't know what you can do, young fella, man. I don't know. He was like, he don't want you on your team, dog. I was like, yeah. He was like, he don't want you on the team. I was like, why? He was like, you ain't looking for him. He's like, that nigga want to score. That nigga want to make the All-Star team. You gotta learn how to find this nigga. And when he passes to you, make your shot. He gonna wanna play with you. I figured that shit out. Get the ball to Joe. Look for Joe. Run it down full speed. Find Joe. I started doing that. Joe like, young fella gonna be alright. Young fella gonna be alright. Young fella gonna be alright. And then all of a sudden, I was doing that so much. All of a sudden, Josh like, all you do is pass the ball to Joe. I'm like, okay. Let me feed Josh a little bit. Throw him a couple passes. Throw him a lob here and there. I was like, fuck scoring. I'm just gonna be the best passer. All of a sudden, Josh like, he cool, man. You gonna be alright, man. Nigga. You keep working on that shit, man. You gonna be. Yeah, I was like, okay, just get these niggas the ball. They like it. Cool. Because I had Nick Van Exel in my ear. Shout out to Nick. He just be like, man, you can get $8 million, nigga. Fuck all that. Averaging 20, nigga. You can get $8 million, nigga. Fuck that. He's like, once you get the money, then you can say, fuck these niggas. Get the money first. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, let me just start passing this motherfucker. He's like, once they sign you, it's fuck them, man. It's like, yeah, I like that.
You know, Jatig, man, you are a good podcaster. You're a good entertainer at talking, man. You can make a story sound so good. I was just locked in with that story. Like, that shit is crazy how much, you feel me, this nigga, man, he made for this podcast shit. But JT, your stories, man, I can be locked in on your stories.
Did Mike and Pippen have... I was there. I covered the team in 1998 in Chicago. Pippen was just like Jaylen Brown. He didn't like him. He resented the hell out of him. But it was the same kind of dynamic where Scottie was always trying to show everybody, you're underestimating how good I am, how important I am. Mm-hmm. So would you say in this situation, Jaylen Brown is Michael Jordan and Jason Tatum is Scottie Pippen? As far as attitude and assholeness and...
Yes, definitely. Jaylen is way more like Michael to me than Jason is.
Okay.
To me, Jaylen is more valuable. On both ends of the floor, he's a more valuable, just slightly more valuable.
So if you had to keep one, who are you keeping?
I've always said Jaylen.
Did Mike and Pippen have...
I was there. I covered the team in 1998.
I don't believe that. I don't think either one of them niggas on some Jordan shit. Jaylen Brown is a good player. Let's keep it at that. He's a good player. Not on no Jordan shit. Just a good player. Both sides. Jason Tatum, great player. Only thing that's different between them two, I feel like Jason Tatum got a little bit more height on him, and he a little bit more, you know, a little bit more better at shooting than Jaylen Brown. But Jaylen Brown's still a good shooter. But honestly, I do feel like Jason Tatum is better. But Jaylen Brown, a good player though. Not Michael Jordan.
Chargers?
He pulled that bitch. Good ass shot.
NBA players who have never. Kyrie Irving has never fouled out. He played in 875 games so far and never fouled out in a single one. Kevin Durant has never had a 60-point game. His career high is 55 points. And that was on April 2nd, 2022 against...
Put someone in the wrong career. It's soul sucking. Energy.
Hold back.
NBA players who have never. Kyrie Irving has never fouled out. He played in 875 games so far and never fouled out in...
Who welcomed you to the NBA?
One of the coldest moments in my first year. KD coming down.
Yeah.
You know, KD, when he comes to the 3-point line, he live with a heavy pull anytime.
Yeah, son, you gotta think about it.
Killian Hayes, he trailing. KD don't even see him for real. I see he about to pull up. I jump before he even gets into a shot. Killian flying in. KD shoots it, bro. Before it even in, he said, oh, both of y'all.
Oh my God. Ain't no game plan for him. Who welcomed you to the NBA?
One of the coldest moments in my first year. KD coming down.
Yeah.
You know, KD, when he comes to the 3-point line, he live with a heavy pull anytime.
Yeah, son, you gotta think about it.
Killian Hayes, he trailing. KD don't even see him for real. I see he about to pull up. I jump before he even gets into a shot. Killian flying in. KD shoots it, bro. Before it even went in, he said, oh, both of y'all.
Oh my God. Ain't no game plan for him.
That's my nigga.
Man, I remember when I got my award, bro. Me and Webb Shout to C Webb. I love bro. We brothers. He know this, bro. I don't even think it was cool, but I can feel it. You can feel when you got.
You and Westbrook got together.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, this must see TV. You don't really talk. Like if somebody say something to you, then you'll go back. But
Shit fucking up, y'all. Oh.
NFL players who got zero credit for being the best. The year was 1999, and the St. Louis Rams just drafted a wide receiver named Torrey Holt with the 6th overall pick. In his rookie season, he helped the Rams win Super Bowl Yik-Fway-Quatrell as part of one of the greatest offenses ever assembled, the greatest show on turf. But here's where things start to get disrespectful. From 2000 to 2009, Torrey Holt led every single wide receiver in the NFL in both receiving yards and receptions, finishing the decade with over 12,600 yards, which was more than Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, and Marvin Harrison. On top of that, he made 7 Pro Bowls, earned 2 All-Pro selections, and put together 8 straight 1,000-yard seasons. But even while he was doing all of this, nobody seemed to care. In 2000, he led the entire league in receiving yards and didn't even get an All-Pro nod. And in 2005, he had more yards and more catches than Marvin Harrison. Yet Harrison got the All-Pro selection instead. He was constantly overlooked while putting up numbers that were better than the guys getting all the credit. But the real disrespect didn't start until after he retired. See, Holt became eligible for the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2015. And since then, all 4 of his greatest show on turf teammates, Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Orlando Pace, and Isaac Bruce, have gotten in. Every single pass catcher on the 2000s All-Decade team has gotten into. And Torrey Holt, he's been a finalist 7 times now, and as of 2026, the man who led all receivers for an entire decade is still waiting outside the door. NFL players who got zero credit for being the best.
Wow.
The year was 1999.
Wow. You know, I won't say. This is what I would say, y'all. I won't say that he didn't play for teams that had the eyes on him, because he played for the greatest show on turf. So he had a team that actually, you know, he had eyes on him. I don't know. Was he a troublemaker or something? Let's look at the comments, because I don't know. Was he a troublemaker? Like, was he one of the niggas that was fucking up? And they all agreeing that he should be in the Hall of
Welcome
Fame.
to the NFL moment.
Lorenzo
Neil.
I had saw film on him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, he's destroying guys.
Lorenzo Neal, LaDainian Tomlinson talks about him, says he intimidates defenders when he comes to block them because he just hits them so hard.
And then when I got into the game and I saw him, he about this tall. He about this tall. He looked big from afar, but the closer I got to him, like the shorter he got. So in my mind, I'm like, you the guy?
I remember I go out there playing against the linebackers. I said, "Are y'all both me a Pro Bowl?" Boom! I mean, I would be telling them that, bro, on the field.
Chargers like to run power O.
Yeah, they do.
Also, if they do a play and it's successful, they will run it over and over.
Yeah, until you stop it.
Okay. Okay. So they run the first power O. I go up, I do it, I take all of it. Bow! Whole shoulder rattle. They come out, they run the same play again. Boom! All right. I kept it contained the second time, this and that. So now we call it again. This time I said, I'm gonna turn into him. All right, we're gonna see.
Yeah.
Same thing happened. I went and did it. All I know is I ended up on my back. You know, that whole area grazed all over me on the ground. And then
that
he
nigga
comes up
fucked
on the
up.
ground. He leaned over me. This is real. This is not exaggerated. He goes, "Hey, youngin, you gonna vote for me in the Pro Bowl?"
I'm the judge, the jury. I'm gonna find you guilty today. Man, bro.
Yeah.
Hold up.
And I'm on the ground. I'm looking up. In my mind, I'm thinking like O'Neal, like how you spell it? Like that was my real one. Where it's like you got to get baptized. If you ain't never been baptized, you know it's.
I don't know why this shit keep freezing.
Let me tell you how the feds work. The feds will watch you and tell
So
you.
they'll know and just wait.
Because they want you to do something else, build a case up on you that you can't get out of. Like, the feds watched me. I had that RICO and that gun case. The feds watched me the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't stop and get me until I was on the phone and told somebody I was finna turn myself in. That same day, they cut off the Florida Turnpike on the way to Miami. Had the helicopter in the sky with the spikes on the road and undercover dudes and took my ass down. Because they don't want you to turn yourself in. That's the last thing they want. The U.S. Marshals live off of catching your ass. They don't want you to turn yourself in.
What's the difference?
Because if you turn yourself in, you get points off your sentence. So it's a point system. Like, they're going to get you 3 points off your sentence because you came in willingly. You wasn't a captured fugitive. So now, not only that, you're more reluctant to get a bond because you came up there. The U.S. Marshals don't want you out on bond. They want you in the federal prison. So, like, you can get a bond. If you walk up there and turn yourself in, most judges are going to give you
50 Cent in the game? I don't want to say regret, but did you ever say, damn, we could have just smashed the whole game? I never said it once. I don't give a fuck who it is. I would have told my mama this. 50 had beef with Fat Joe and Kiss and Nas. Kiss was my nigga. And if we're talking about crack, nigga, no way. I'm gonna look Kiss in the eye, bro. I sat there 24 years old, bro, and I could not go against our friendship. I wasn't gonna do that, bro. I didn't give a fuck. I really appreciated you coming to grab me, taking me to YO, giving me experience that I can never forget, bro. It happened before the other shit happened.
You know that I never knew that was the real reason.
We might got a bigger bone to pick with Flex because he set me up with the question.
Wow.
The nigga angered at me. Flex was like, so, 50 got beef with Kiss, he got beef with Nas, he got beef with Joe. I said, nah, I cut him off. I was like, nah, they non-negotiable. 50 heard it and said, yeah, game ain't in the group. I didn't feel no way about it. Happened on the way nigga live. Hey, it happened the same day, nigga. Later on, I see Joe and 50 squash it. Yo, I'm like, no way, they're friends. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm your brother forever. But if you know anything about 50, I can say this because that was my friend. And 50 is a genius. He's a fucking asshole. He's a troll. One day, me and 50, we're just gonna go behind the thing. It's like brothers, and I gotta get it in with him just one time to see if he really built like that. What? I fuck with him. So no, I'm Kiss. I'm just saying. I feel you. Today, there's no game in 50 anything.
Wow. That might be the best Joe and Jada episode ever. Maybe. Y'all go check out Joe and Jada.
And cause I was like, man, I ain't gonna lie, man, if the rap shit don't work for me, I ain't gonna lie, man, I'm gonna see me some heroin for about a year straight. I'm gonna go crazy with the heroin and the fentanyl, man, about a year straight, 2 years straight. I'm gonna get the fuck on out the way, man. Gonna make me $1 million, man, start investing. And just make sure you keep you a motherfucker to flip.
So at first, it hit me. It didn't register, right? Because I'm like, because I'm watching TV at the same time when he said I got one earbud in, the other one out. I'm like, hell yeah, man. I was like, man, because my nigga get out there fucked up. I try to say the question in a different way. Like, I try to say, I'm like, yeah, because if a nigga get out there fucked up, nigga gotta do what they gotta do, man. Get out there and show us shit stank, he said. Yeah, man, like I was saying, man, shit, you gonna have to keep you a motherfucker to flip. So now you got me. I'm like, but what you mean by that? Like, you should have said this shit again. Like, this fool as hell. Like, he say, man, the game ain't the same no more. You gonna learn if you don't listen. I said, what you mean? Ain't nobody keeping it real. I said, what the fuck you talking? He said, man, and we high now. So now I'm in the streets. In my mind, I'm like, ain't nobody keeping it real. But man, you just don't understand how I understand now what he was saying. Like, I'm like, ain't nobody. Hell no. I did all my real nigga time. I did 12 years of keeping it real. I did 12 years straight keeping it real. Nobody keep it. I got out, kept it real again. I'm done. I said, so what you, man, shit, I keep me a good nigga, the good nigga who give me some good prices, I ain't gonna tell on him. The nigga who give me the bad prices, I'm gonna fuck him up. And guess what? You know one thing about the feds?
it's gonna work every time.
They want somebody.
See, in the state, it don't work. In the feds, I'm letting y'all know. It's niggas that's selling dope, moving foul, that know how they finna get home already. So don't think you dealing with a real nigga. He already done been popped, got caught with a half a brick, 2-3 bricks, or whatever, a gun, and they finna draw this right here agreement up, right here in the back seat. They finna fax it to the judge, everything right here in the back seat. You don't know. You think bro just pulled off to go to Walmart.
Yep, they are.
The police that got him, he had 2 guns in the car, and you don't know. And guess what? They done gave him that shit back. They done took pictures of everything. He come back to the spot. Y'all don't fucking know what happened. And now he obligated to work. Sometimes, no matter how close I am with people, I watch what I say. I watch what I say in elevators. I done seen people get indicted from talking in the court tank. I done seen people get fucked off from talking in a restaurant. Like the feds dig deep. When they want you, they coming, bro. That's why I said I ain't no use committing no crime. Cause I was like,
man, y'all boys that's out here doing shit that the feds is gonna basically get on, man. I just want to say straight up, y'all boys be safe. Cause the feds is only, well, I'm sorry, the feds is on niggas' ass. I just want y'all to know that the feds only get on your ass when you get loud. What I mean by loud, I mean basically when you basically trying to show yourself off, that's when the feds come. Because if you just basically a nigga that's just getting money, selling dope, or whatever you doing illegally, you just making money. If you just basically doing that, you ain't on social media talking shit, you ain't basically sharing no money on social media, you're not going to the clubs, throwing money in the club, and you're not just basically spending to the point where motherfuckers will see it. If you get that type of situation, you probably ain't gonna never get arrested by the feds because, like, it's no way them niggas know about you unless it's a snitch. Now, if it is a snitch involved, then basically, you know, it's fucked up at that point. They get you. They get you at that point. But if you basically ain't showing nothing off and you ain't doing nothing like that, and you keep your money stashed and you ain't doing nothing, feds probably ain't gonna get on your ass. Unless it's somebody telling. But yeah, like straight up, bro, the feds don't come until you basically, you know, you spend a couple dollars. Once you spend a couple dollars, and nigga, you in a club throwing, let's say straight up, y'all find something where y'all basically get a lick for 100,000. Let's say you go to the club, you spend 25. Dumb as hell, but let's just say it's a hypothetical situation. Going to the club, you spend 25,000. Motherfuckers don't understand, like, you know, it's motherfuckers in the club, you feel me, that is, hello? What up, though? I got you. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. Oh, man. Yeah, that fast shit is crazy, though.
I was like, man, I ain't gonna lie, man, if the rap shit don't work for me, I ain't gonna lie.
Be quiet. God damn, I'm not locked into nothing. Be quiet.
But with Utah, we got a lot of quality players. What do they do? I'm saying at some point you gotta build around something. AJ DeBanston. But if you don't get him though, AJ will be on Utah. Yeah. That's why he at BYU. This is all a setup. The NBA can't do that. It's bad time. The gambling ring, AJ DeVance would not be a Utah. The moment we go to Utah, do y'all not understand what is going to happen in the NBA? People going to stop watching the NBA. Everybody bet on the NBA. So if you bet, you going to buy this rigged. Y'all already know it's rigged. It's not. That's a fact, bro. After Luka get traded, bro. This shit is rigged, bro. Nah, that was too obvious. No, I'm saying Utah would be too obvious, though. But it was a prep school to BYU and now he in Utah.
Put your money on going to the Jazz if you smart.
It's fine, minus $1 million on it.
But with Utah.
Oh, man.
All right, boys. Since Wemby somehow won a unanimous Defensive Player of the Year, here are the top 5 highest-rated defensive seasons in NBA history. Let's go take a look. Today's ranking is based off of defensive box plus minus. And for those of you who don't know, I'll explain. Say you have a defensive box plus minus of +2. That means you save your team 2 points every 100 possessions. So all that means is the higher the number, the better a defender you are. And with that being said, at number 5, the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. In the 2018-19 season, Rudy led the Utah Jazz's defensive unit with a defensive box plus minus of 4.7. And following him up at number 4 with another rating of...
There are 8 NBA teams to never have a player.
All right, chill out.
3 strikes.
Chill out. I did not mean to come down here and tear up like that.
Oh, man. I know you heard about the Pistons, man.
Oh, man. I saw that shit. I was watching that shit.
Sad day in history.
Nigga, we got our ass blessed, nigga.
It was a sad day.
We got our ass blessed, bro. I was at Ace crib, chilling with that nigga and shit. Watching that shit and shit. Man, we watching that shit, man. I'm just looking like, bro.
Yeah.
You watching it?
Couldn't find no link.
I told you where you gotta go.
I know, but it's like I tried on my phone. It don't work on my phone.
Cause I told you gotta have your Chrome. I told your big headed ass that.
You know, I didn't hear it.
I bet your ass went straight to Safari.
Yeah, for sure.
Chill out. Be quiet, Beaks.
Damn. That one right there. You can be quiet, Beats. Be quiet.
Yeah, you gotta go to
FanDuel Casino has 5 Huffin' Puff games that'll blow you away.
I'm pretty sure it'll work on your phone because it's a
bigger, better jackpots. Go home for thrills. It's the home of Huffin' Puff. New players get 500 bonus spins plus a $5,000 back in casino bonus.
We're all about that.
Yeah, but you gotta pay attention.
Sports games give you so many different camera options to work with. Like, look at the spectator camera in modern WWE games. You can just do anything. Damn, all 4 back and I go. Damn, we're still going?
Oh, man, bro.
Finally, it let me stop. I'm so high up, I'm watching this match with Eddie Guerrero. But there are some games out there that let you experiment with a first-person perspective. Now you have a ton of games that use VR, and maybe we'll look at those games someday, but I'm talking about a regular game. And 2K, we're experimenting with this a little bit. Here we have the most famous example, NFL 2K5. Now you'd think this is the first football game to ever use a first-person perspective, but no. Madden 64 had a helmet cam, and those of you that are veterans of this channel would know that the FMV game Quarterback Attack with Mike Ditka also had first-person elements.
In a second longer, and you going through the meat grinder. I'm gonna grind your meat up, buddy. I'm gonna grind your meat up.
The NFL 2K5 goes all the way with it, so much so that they actually trademarked it. This mode really does put you through the eyes of the player for a more immersive experience. You can see the face mask, the visor, and you even have the name up there to show you who you're controlling. The commentary is turned off, but you can hear players talking trash to each other on the field.
Don't be shocked when you can't get open, Jeremy.
Mike, they
You
already
ain't
have all
nothing,
the
Frank.
pulled up.
Come on, Pennington.
First and
He's
10.
playing
Make
on
this a
something
little bit
crazy.
harder for me.
Each
Didn't
time on the
nobody
offense,
see
you even
him
get to
in the
pick a play and you can hear the
Wow.
QB call it out.
Fire.
Didn't nobody see
Wide.
what they was
Screen. 12, 50. On three. Ready?
Everybody was
Even at the
literally
start of the
functioning
game, you walk
perfectly.
up to do the coin toss with the coin that looks like one of those little chocolate coins. In terms of the gameplay, it
Everybody
really
else?
puts you into the quarterback perspective like no other game, simply because you can't see. Never mind your vision being obscured by the face mask or your helmet. Your vision is being blocked by the lineman.
Fuck out of the way. I can't see.
You have to use the right stick to look around, to take account for what rush is coming in, to see who's open, and to make sure you don't run over your own guy. Sorry, my boy. If you can't do that, you're getting sacked.
But what I did see was Justin that living front.
Man, that can't be good for Brett Favre's welfare. The issue I have with playing quarterback is that turning the camera is pretty difficult because when you move the right analog stick, you immediately snap in that direction. The camera is so sensitive, you'd think it was a Twitter user. It's more of a novelty to play quarterback this way. Like, wow, look at what the quarterback has to go through in real life. Okay, put the regular camera back on now, please. On defense, you don't really have this problem because the camera is always locked onto the ball. And rushing in with a blitz and getting a sack is one of the most satisfying things you can do while playing this.
Oh shit. Darren Sharper. One of the most hardest hitting safeties in the league.
Trust me, I only want to look through the eyes of Darren Sharper on the football field and never any other time. Now, there is the whole switching between players aspect. In a game like Backbreaker, which has similar camera principles, I complain that switching between characters can be super confusing because you are jumping from one player to another while having the camera so close you think it was one of those awkward WWE fan meetups. In NFL 2K5, the solution to this is slow motion, and a whole lot of it. There's slow motion when you catch the ball, there's slow motion when you switch between players, and there's slow motion that you can manually activate yourself when you press R3. Now, it might sound like a dumb idea to give a football video game the same amount of slow motion that you'd find in a Max Payne game, but this little addition makes for a mode that's much more enjoyable to play, especially the QB position. Now, when moving around, your point of view is facing forward, or if you're on defense, facing the ball. But the movement you see right here where I caused the pass deflection, in reality looks 10 times goofier.
Gotta be a pig.
The best possible thing to do in this mode, and I'd actually play a career mode like this, is running the ball with the running back. On special teams, it's fun on either side of the ball, but running with the running back is by far my favorite thing here. Trying to quickly find holes that the offensive line opens up or getting surprised by a hit that I didn't see coming is really, really fun. Like if first person football were to ever come back, I'd really just like to play it as the running back. As far as the overall mode goes, it's a cool experiment. And if you really love first-person football that much, you can play with it in franchise mode. I wouldn't play this over the regular camera outside of the novelty aspect of it all, but it would have been interesting to see how future NFL 2K games would have expanded on this.
Man, I would.
Well, 2K didn't just do football in first person, they also did baseball too.
Oh my goodness.
ESPN Major League Baseball also has a first person mode, and we'll check it out if the game ever stops freezing.
This is Carl Ravitch here at our Baseball Tonight studios as we get you set for a little exhibition baseball here on ESPN. Baseball Tonight studios as we get you set for a little exhibition baseball here on ESPN. Baseball Tonight studios as we get you set for a little exhibition baseball here on ESPN. Tonight Studios.
This is number one.
I was about to say, bro, it's repeated like 3
This mode
times.
is absolutely terrible. Yeah, it doesn't translate as well as NFL 2K5 did. You don't have all the little immersive things that NFL 2K5 did, and the gameplay isn't that great either. Pitching is okay. You just select the pitch and where to aim it, and that's really it. When hitting, you are looking at this through the perspective of the batter, which is the whole point. I get it. But for a video game, it's at an angle where you legit can't tell what's in the strike zone or what's out of it. And that's kind of a big deal because if you can't see the ball, then you can't hit. And if you can't hit effectively, then, well, what's the point of this mode? Playing the field is not that great either. The very first fielding opportunity that I had was a fly ball in foul territory that I caught. But I realized I caught it with my second baseman, which makes no sense. What was my first baseman doing? Let's look at the replay.
Oh yeah. That nigga wasn't
Wow.
doing shit
So
out
there's
there.
really not all that much to say. There's also this thing called action cam you could choose. This is kind of a mixture of both first person and third person cameras. The pitching is in first person while the fielding is this close up behind the shoulder view. Hey, I can actually see what I'm doing. Wow. The same thing with hitting. They give a close but traditional view, and I can actually have some type of pitch recognition now. Wow. When you swing and make contact, the game slows down and shifts you into a first-person view to still try and give off the first-person feel, I guess. So yeah, the fact that action cam is a thing signifies to me that the developers knew the regular first-person mode sucked and tried to offer you up an alternative. You cannot use first-person mode in franchise, and this feature would be taken out of every future MLB 2K game. Hey, at least I actually got a home run, so here, enjoy that footage.
Here's the pitch.
Bitch.
Now we gotta go help people customize and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Maybe where's the golf
Have you been
cart?
listening to Iceman?
Yeah, y'all listen to the whole bitch, man.
Now to do a quick lightning round on stuff in the same vein, modern MLB The Show games in their career mode you can field in first person, and you can even set up the hitting view to be as close to first person as possible, so there's that I guess. In NBA 2K7's 24/7 mode, it starts out like it'll be first person. Your character walks like he's Godzilla.
Run to the A.
Yeah, I was gonna say Run to the Left. I love Run to the Left, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Then you challenge Shaq to a free throw contest
You
in
know what
first
I'm
person.
saying?
With the game after that, it's just regular NBA 2K
I love that
basketball.
shit,
In
man.
SmackDown Just Bring It, you can
And
explore
your
backstage
baby
areas in
mama
first
ain't
person.
posted
In
scene.
SmackDown Original
Damn.
2008 on
Where
the
she
PS3,
at?
you could press a button and
Where
it'll be in
she
first
at?
person, but only during the
You
entrance.
get
That's all I
body
can think of. I'm sure there's
bossy,
more.
nigga.
Leave some in the comments. Get that engagement up. Hype up the video.
That
That
nigga
means a
was
lot,
talking
I
on that
think.
shit.
Well, anyway, the
I love
last
it.
game we'll talk about is Fight Night Round
love
3.
it, man.
If you were to buy Fight Night Round 3, you probably wouldn't see a
You gotta
first
tap in
person
with his
mode.
other albums,
That's
too.
because it was only
know,
on
I've
the
downloaded all
PS3
three of them,
version.
for real.
Yeah,
So
remember
I
when
ain't tapping with
consoles
the
would
third
get
one just yet, 'cause I
exclusive
still gotta finish the
features?
second one.
Fight
So
Night
it's
was
like,
my
man.
first
The
PS3
second one
game,
is
so
all
this
thins
little
out.
feature
Well,
didn't
which
make
one
me
you talking
feel like a
about?
complete
R&B,
loser for
R&B
owning a
one.
PS3
R&B
when
one.
nobody
Ah,
else did.
Yeah, I
Funny
haven't
enough,
tapped in
Fight
with
Night
the
is
R&B
not
one.
the
He got
only
Sexy
boxing
Red
game
on
with a
that
first
bitch.
person
He
mode.
got Lucy
Hell,
Red
it's
on
not
that
even
bitch.
the
It's like
only
y'all
EA
Lucy
sports
Red, that bitch
boxing
better
game
say
to
it.
have it.
Yeah,
Knockout
as long
Kings
as
has
y'all
a
Sexy
first
Red,
person
that bitch
camera
better say it,
option, and oddly enough,
Yeah,
you
he
can
got
change
Soul
the
Six Red
camera
on
view
the
to
other
your
one, too.
opponent's
The other
perspective
one
as
more
well.
like dance
So it's
songs
like
and
you're
shit.
fighting through the eyes of your opponent. It's like a second person view. Fight Night Round 3 does first person the best in my opinion. It's a mixture of good execution and the fact that boxing is a sport that translates well to first person. I'd say better than any other sport. I cannot tell you how cool it is to slip and hit counters in this game. Even more satisfying because Fight Night has super underrated facial damage. Seeing the absolute mess you made of your opponent's face while fighting him is a nice touch. It's more than just a camera option though. Each time you take a strike, you get hit with a mini Call of Duty flashbang, and these dark patches start covering up the screen the more damage you take. I like to think this is the physical representation of CTE forming in real time, but it can be a little scary when your opponent gets you trapped in the corner and he starts to go for the kill.
Oh my god, this shit. Damn.
To get the true authentic experience, you could turn down the commentary volume and just hear breathing.
Fight Night Round 3.
This is a true ASMR dream right here. This view is also available to play in your career mode too, so to be quite honest with you, I enjoy this more than the regular camera. I feel like you could see the punches coming better here. The only complaint I have with it is sometimes I have trouble judging the distance for these punches, but it's nothing you can't get used to. After this, the first person view would be abandoned in the next two Fight Night games, which is unfortunate, and the UFC series by EA would never touch it either. Oh well, at least we get to look at the ring girls, right? Damn, girl! Wait, why does she look like the neighbor girl from the Spider-Man movies?
Oh my goodness, man.
My husband used to ejaculate prematurely until this.
Okay, so my husband has this fun habit of ejaculating prematurely every time we have sex. I keep telling him it doesn't matter to me if he needs to go for it, but he was always too embarrassed. Until this. SexRx plus Climax Control by Hims is a compounded medication that revolutionized our sex life. It combines active ingredients for erectile dysfunction and premature ejaculation.
There was a period where sports video games felt like the future. Every year, they looked different, felt different, sounded different. Your parent would think you were watching an actual game.
The crowd sounded more real, the animations were smoother, the commentary felt smarter, the lighting looked impossible. Sports video games were these fantasies, these playgrounds, this alternate universe where you could imagine anything could happen, until they weren't. Not all at once, slowly. The leaps got smaller. Suddenly, it cost more to play. Entire features started disappearing. So what led to this moment? To find out, I talked to Kofi, who covers sports video games on his amazing YouTube channel, because I also wanted to figure out something else. Why did this happen? Sports has been part of
I'll tell y'all why it happened. Straight up, it was basically to the point motherfuckers was playing games. Everything was smooth. Then I think straight up that everybody started wanting better graphics. And when the better graphics started coming, they couldn't just add everything that was old to the games. Like, you know, all these creative custom things that we can do. It basically went to the back end because of the fact that they just wanted graphics. Everybody wanted graphics. We just wanted the shit just to look real. And yeah, that was the downfall right there. That was the downfall. And then once basically we end up getting the graphics, they start going towards microtransactions. So then microtransactions was the thing that they was pushing at that point. So it never really became more of, let's just basically make this game so we can customize everything and make it just the best thing that we can make it, you know, for the game. Wow. It came to the point where we wanted graphics, and then after we got graphics, you know, then it was microtransactions. Now we just really fucked up, you know. It's a situation.
Video games almost as long as video games have existed. Pong, released in 1972, was a sports game. 2 lines and a dot, and somehow you knew it was tennis. That's how intuitive the relationship between sports and games were. You didn't need to be told what you were playing. But the genre as we understood it today really begins in the 1980s. Techno Bowl in 1989 is the moment most people point to, the first time a football game felt like football. Techno Bowl understood that a sports game didn't need to look exactly like what you saw on television. It just needed to feel like the sport you loved. And that difference between a sports video game feeling like a simulation versus feeling like an actual sports game is going to matter later in this video. Through the early mid-90s, the genre started finding its legs. NBA Jam in 1993 put 2 men on a court and made them gods. On fire. They wanted to make basketball feel like a fantasy. And they succeeded in a way that still holds up 30 years later. Then the PlayStation arrived in 1994 and everything changed. Suddenly developers had hardware capable of something approaching real graphics, real physics, real texture. And the genre responded by running. And all of this happened on a couch, not on the internet. You would sit next to your friend, it would be a split screen, and you'd be playing alongside them in person. I fell in love with basically every sport in part by playing the video game simulations. It's how I learned the names of the players, the names of the teams, the rules of the game, the dynamics around the league. And this is something that I think that is under talked about in this newer generation of fans, how important and central video games were for getting us invested in the storylines of all of these leagues across all of these sports.
And as an only child, that was one of the more important things for me, you know. It was either play video games or play organized sports. I didn't have a lot of kids in the neighborhood. So like, that was it.
But from there, things got even better. Jordan Mode put you inside the greatest basketball career ever played. You got to live your childhood dreams and be Michael Jordan, moving through the defining moments of his life with a production value and emotional weight that felt genuinely cinematic. NFL Street took the most rule-bound sport in America and freed it from every single one of those rules, and what came out the other side was pure joy. The bigs let you hit home runs into the stratosphere. MLB Power Pros looked like a toy and had more genuine baseball simulation depth than games 3 times its size. They were the product of a genre firing on every cylinder simultaneously, the simulation track and the experimental track running side by side, each one pushing the other to be weirder, stranger, and more ambitious. These games were toys in the best sense because the more you played them, the more you found out about this world of sports, the more you found Easter eggs that made the game even more fun and even weirder to play. It was one of those things where you didn't have to pay more money in order to have more fun. All of this reaches its peak in the summer of 2004. Visual Concepts, a studio out of San Mateo, priced NFL 2K5 at $19.99. It was a statement of confidence. They believed that the game was good enough to let the game make the argument. And the game made that argument. NFL 2K5 outsold Madden that year. The ESPN presentation wrapper made it feel like watching a real broadcast. The gameplay was sharp. The production was ambitious. A scrappier, hungrier studio built a better product, and the market said so clearly.
The early 2000s were about ironing out gameplay. A lot of these games were like, okay, there's only so much gameplay ideas that we can add. So the game doesn't have to look super realistic for it to be good.
One of the things that made this era of sports gaming unbelievable was that these video game studios were genuinely incredible creative operations. They had competition that forced them to innovate, be more efficient, and try new things out. And when you're building something, a business, a YouTube channel, you need things that are helping you chase as much clarity as possible. And that's where this video sponsor, Odoo, comes in. I've been running my YouTube channel as a business for over a year now. And one of the things that people don't tell you when you start doing this is how much time goes into managing the operations of the business. Invoicing sponsors, tracking what's being paid, keeping up with what's owed, managing the back end of the channel. It adds up fast, and none of it actually feels like the creative work I want to do. Odoo is what I wish I'd had since day one. It's an all-in-one management platform that brings everything into a single place. Your accounting, your invoicing, your CRM, your inventory, your website. And the reason that actually matters is that all of those things talk to each other. Your sales connect directly to your accounting. You're not copying information between 4 different tools and hoping nothing gets lost in between. Or NFL 2K. It's been done in the gaming industry. In 2004, EA Sports did something that had never been done in the gaming industry before. They bought the right to stop building another one. $300 million to the NFL for an exclusive licensing deal. No more NFL 2K. No more competition. It was just Madden forever at full price with nowhere else to go. The dominoes fell quickly after that. EA Sports gave up on the NBA because 2K was crushing them in sales. Because Live never had to be good enough to survive. And EA didn't need it to survive. MLB The Show cornered baseball in its own strange way as a PlayStation first-party title. The market that had spent a decade accelerating towards something greater stopped almost overnight. And it all happened because the financial incentive to keep racing disappeared the moment EA wrote that check.
An interesting thing about 2K5 versus Madden is that they played differently. There were 2 different forms of gameplay. They were both cool. I think that that's what's lost in today's stuff, is that there's not really that much in terms of competition where you could have both titles and have a fun time. It kind of was heartbreaking to see that.
And the immediate effect was obvious. Madden stopped getting better noticeably year over year. And there was a ton of features that were in NFL 2K5 that took years to get into Madden.
Kind of encouraged each title to do something new, do something better. A lot of stuff improved from 2000 to 2010.
This genre of sports video games that had been sprinting towards improvement for years suddenly slowed down to a walk and then barely started moving at all. And for a long time, someone in a corporate boardroom made the calculation. We need to stop experimenting altogether.
That was dumb as hell.
NFL Street, NBA Street, the bigs, gone. Because when you have the licenses locked, the experimental spin-off is a liability. It costs resources that could go elsewhere, and it risks confusing the brand. And while exclusivity was changing the competitive landscape for these video game companies, there was something else happening too that started to change the way that all of us played video games and interacted with one another. The internet arrived in living rooms and gaming went online. And the promise was obvious. Instead of playing with the 2 or 3 friends who happened to be on your couch, you could play anyone, anywhere, anytime. There was more competition, more challenge, and more game to be played. What actually happened was more complicated. Playing with someone in the same room meant sharing experiences. You saw their face when you hit the stick move, you heard them yell when the pass got intercepted, you existed in the same physical space, and the game was something that was happening between you. So as the experience around sports video games, and really video games as a whole, started to change, these video game studios needed to come up with a new way to make money because the experience of how people were actually playing these games was completely changing. NBA 2K's My Career mode in the early 2010s was genuinely cinematic. Professional actors, real scripts, production values that made you feel like you were playing through a movie about your own basketball life.
And that was a non-microtransaction mode where that's my favorite version of the My Player, because what you would do is you would play, and however well you would play would be your skill points that you would be able to practice in drills, and you'd be able to practice in those drills to be able to improve your player. And it felt very realistic, where it's like, oh yeah, if you want to get better at the mid-range, you should just do the mid-range drill. And that game was not afraid to send you to, at the time, the D League. Right now it's the G League. At the time, they weren't afraid to send you to the G League. You started out in Summer League, you were a 38 overall.
The Michael B. Jordan iteration was the peak of that ambition. Someone at 2K thought that this experience deserved to be beautiful. It deserved to be art, deserved to be something you'd remember. And they were right. It was remarkable. But My Career was also the delivery mechanism for the most aggressive microtransaction system in sports gaming. The gap between a player who spent and a player who didn't was enormous and felt on every single possession. The cinematic ambition and the monetization engine became the same product. The beauty of the game was the wrapper. But getting you to spend more money on your My Player, that was the point. In 2009, EA Sports quietly added a new mode to FIFA. They called it Ultimate Team. You built a squad from player cards. You earned cards by playing, or you bought packs with real money. The packs were randomized. You might get a superstar, you might get nothing, you kept buying. Nobody in the gaming press treated it as a major moment. It was a side quest, an extra, something to tinker with after you'd finished the main game. But within 5 years, it was generating over $1 billion annually. And within 10 years, it was the entire sports video game business. The logic of Ultimate Team spread from FIFA to Madden to NBA 2K to NHL to MLB The Show. My Team, Ultimate Team, each one built on the same foundation. A roster of players you didn't have yet, a pack system designed to make the gap between where you were and where you want to be feel permanent, and a calendar of limited time content that made sure the gap never closed. These team modes never felt finished because a finished mode was a mode you'd stop spending money on. What Ultimate Team actually was, underneath the sports branding, the player cards, was a loot box system. It was gambling. You paid money for a randomized reward. The odds were not disclosed for years. The rewards were designed to produce just enough dopamine to justify the next purchase. Belgium banned loot boxes in 2018, classifying them as gambling under existing law. The Netherlands followed suit. The UK Gambling Commission opened investigations. In the United States, Senator Josh Hawley introduced legislation against them. EA was called before Congress, and their Vice President of Legal and Government Affairs sat in front of a committee and described loot boxes as, and this is a direct quote, surprise mechanics. Mechanics that were, quote, enjoyable and quite ethical.
Now what we have is like Ultimate Team versus Ultimate Team, where it's like, oh hey, we're using it, it's basically like sports Yu-Gi-Oh at this point, where it's like, I have this card in my deck. It's all basketball turn-based combat now, you know, like football turn-based combat.
The thing that replaced the creative ambition of these sports video games was gambling, and it made way more money than anyone at these companies expected in the first place. The PlayStation 4 arrived in 2013. The PlayStation 5 arrived in 2020. Hardware improved dramatically between those two generations. Processing power, memory, rendering capability, all of it went up substantially, and you saw it across the video game industry, outside of sports. And yet, if you put a sports game from 2015 next to one from 2023, the visual leap is modest at best. Compared to the jump from PS1 to PS2,
oh my God, look at Kobe.
PS3,
I ain't gonna lie to you, PS3, what the fuck is this? I can even rock with the PS2. PS2 is not bad. PS3, what the fuck is this? PS4, most accurate. Y'all got Kobe, the most accurate PS4. PS5, this shit is faded. This is faded. The picture look good. The face scan look good, but it's faded. This shit probably was the best shit that they ever came out with. PS3, what the fuck? This is not Kobe Bryant. This is Bill Bellamy.
Improvement is almost imperceptible. The money spent on developing a better game shifted because...
See, I like this. See, I like this Kobe. This Kobe look realistic. This Kobe right here, this shit all look faded. I swear to you. Every single time I see this shit, it look faded. This shit look realistic, colorful, all that good shit.
The business model made that ceiling convenient. good enough graphics became good enough because better graphics weren't really the product anymore. And then something else started to happen too around sports video games. Opening packs of cards in the video games started becoming content itself.
AI agents. Well, hey, don't be scared. Here's how Monday.com makes agents clear, easy, and user-friendly.
YouTube and Twitch created an economy around watching other people play games. And it turned out that watching someone open card packs, the anticipation, the reveal, the reaction was extraordinarily watchable. Streamers built audiences of hundreds of thousands of people watching them spend money on virtual cards. Those audiences normalized the spending. Kids who watched streamers open packs on YouTube went into the game expecting to open packs themselves. The content and the product became reinforcing in a way that made the whole system keep making money.
I think that the moment the game stopped making you work for things, I think that was when the real change happened, where it was like, oh, now if you pay a little bit more for this, you can get this pack, the ultimate Sapphire pack. That's the best. It's like the best pack in the game. Like, I feel it didn't feel like that when Ultimate Team first started, but it feels like that now. And I feel like over time, it's just been wired into the new sports gamer that this is how you get the team that you actually want.
And the most creative thing that these sports video game studios found out is that you can get people to spend even more money on a game that they'd already spent money on. And to do that, you would try to get them to want to improve their team or their My Player.
There's a thing called brown shirts, right? When you first have a My Player and hop into the park, you have a brown shirt. The 2K community has been so wired into making sure that you at least look cool on the court that there are some 2K players that will not play on a team with a brown shirt. They'll step off the court. This is a real thing, and 2K knows this too. Everyone knows this, right? If you have default skin on, you can't, like, you're gonna have a harder time queuing into a multiplayer lobby, and you can just buy any shirt, any other shirt but a brown shirt, and then the problem goes away, right? So it's these kind of things where it doesn't feel like it's you're pushed towards being like, oh, I want to have the most fun. I don't want to be left behind. If you really play the game all the time, you kind of always feel like you have to keep up. Every time you're not like spending as much as you can, you're falling behind in the game. And I feel like that's so different. That's so different. That's such a new thing. These companies love to leverage our love for sports. And for a long time, there were a lot of us that the video game experience was, oh, we're playing sports, watching sports, and playing the video game. But now it's like, okay, it's either you play this video game of the sport that you really love, or you're not going to play the video game version. There's no other competition.
And as someone who, from a video game standpoint, mostly only plays sports video games on a week-to-week basis, it's been really interesting to see how people have responded to the current state of the sports video game landscape, what they're gravitating towards. There's a Japanese baseball game called Pro Spirit Baseball that has better graphics than MLB The Show. The franchise that built its entire identity on being the most visually realistic baseball game ever made, the game that used graphical fidelity as its primary competitive argument for 2 decades, got lapped by a smaller studio in Japan working in a different language for a different market. And now Pro Spirit Baseball is coming out in English. This is a direct challenge arriving from the most unexpected possible direction. The incumbent spent 20 years making sure no American studio could really compete with it, and it didn't notice the threat that was assembling itself in Japan. The audience that wants beautiful, serious, lovingly made baseball simulation now has somewhere else to go. What they do with that option will tell us something important about whether there's still appetite for what sports games used to be. There are attempts for new things to be happening right now. Play-by-Play Studio is releasing NBA The Run, something that looks different from what's been out there in the basketball video game landscape for the last decade. But they do exist, and people are making them, and someone is still asking the right questions. But the story isn't just a simple, clean one, where it's the video game companies trying to maximize how much money they're making as possible while the games don't get better. MVP Baseball was the last baseball video game that came out from EA. And somewhere outside all of this, in the gaps that the industry left and never came back to, some people have kept the faith. When EA stopped making MVP Baseball after an exclusive licensing deal between the league and Take-Two, a community of modders decided that wasn't acceptable. They built MVP Mods, a site dedicated to keeping MVP Baseball 2005 alive. It updated rosters every year. It had new stadiums, it corrected ratings, bug fixes. And for 20 years, volunteers with no funding and no institutional support did for free what EA stopped doing for money. They kept the best baseball video game ever alive, current, and loved. That was 20 years. Think about how long that is. The PS3, the PS4 all came and went. And MVP Baseball 2005 was still going because of the love and passion of an online community that wanted to keep the spirit of truly the best baseball video game ever alive. But at the end of all of this, there was no legal takedown, no corporate cease and desist, no dramatic ending that you could turn into a story about David and Goliath. A server failed. And suddenly, 20 years of work was gone. MVP Mods was over. I still love playing sports video games. I love going online and getting to know players across all these leagues. I've gotten to learn soccer in large part because of FIFA/EAFC. These games do still have a place for people who are mostly looking for simulation and competition out of it. At the end of the day, people have chosen what they want. And at least for right now, it seems like people have chosen loot box mechanics. They've chosen Ultimate Team. They've chosen continuing to spend more money on My Players so you can get an extra pair of sneakers or more gear for your virtual self on the basketball court. And that group of customers is the biggest group of customers right now when it comes to sports video games. And the audience that's more like me, that wants more simulation type games, more games that allow you to really deeply build a franchise, that audience isn't winning with the dollars anymore. And these video game companies are going to follow whatever makes them more money. But this is where the sports video game industry is right now. And I don't think it's dead because obviously there's more money than ever before being made on it. But I do hope that there is a return to at least part of what I thought made sports video games special when I was growing up. I think there's a huge opportunity out there for some video game company to potentially bring in a whole new generation of sports fans that aren't just fixated on trying to spend more money on a pack of cards or trying to buy the latest sneakers for your player on My Player. Let me know what you think about the current state of the sports video games, what your favorite sports
games give you.
Shout out to Doggy Ball, man. W video. I'm gonna get up off here. Everybody be smooth. Have a good night. I'll be on tomorrow.